Everyone held their breath the moment she walked in, heels slicing through silence, eyes sharp enough to make grown men look away. There she was, Evelyn Sterling, the billionaire everyone secretly feared. Staff scattered like birds in a storm, everyone except one man. He sat alone at table 6, a tired single dad in a worn shirt, his daughter's tiny hand wrapped around his. And when her cold voice demanded someone move him, he simply lifted his head and said, steady as a mountain, "My daughter's hungry, and we're not leaving." In that instant, the world stopped. No one knew it yet, but nothing in that restaurant, or in Evelyn's world, would ever be the same again. Evelyn Sterling did not believe in patience, nor kindness, nor in anything that could not be measured by profit or power. The restaurant bowed around her presence, servers avoiding her path, the manager forcing a shaky smile, everyone terrified of becoming her next target. She had built empires, broken rivals, survived in a world dominated by men. But somewhere along the climb, she had grown talons instead of hands. As she stood near the entrance, tapping her platinum phone against perfectly manicured nails, she scanned the room with irritation burning behind her eyes. Life should bend for her. People always did. But across the room sat a man who did not seem to notice her at all. Adam Turner, exhausted from juggling 2 jobs and still barely making ends meet, was more focused on his daughter than the world around him. 5-year-old Lily swung her legs beneath the table, humming softly as she traced shapes with a crayon on a napkin. She didn't understand money or power. She only understood that her daddy promised pancakes after her doctor visit, and promises mattered in her world. "Is there a problem here?" Evelyn's voice whipped across the room, cold and dismissive. A server struggling under her gaze stammered that table 6 was reserved for her, and that the man should relocate. Adam looked up slowly, his eyes tired but resolute. "My daughter hasn't eaten since last night. We'll be done soon." Evelyn's lips curled, not in anger but disbelief. No one denied her. No one dared. "That table is mine. Move him." The manager, nervous sweat creeping down his neck, approached Adam with forced politeness. "Sir, this guest—" "She's not a guest," Adam murmured quietly. "She's just someone used to getting what she wants." The staff gasped. Evelyn's eyes darkened. "Excuse me?" Adam stood, gently placing his hand on his daughter's hair. "We all pay for food. We all wait. My little girl matters as much as you do." Something flickered across Evelyn's face. Something unfamiliar. Something that almost looked like insult colliding with confusion. She had never heard those words spoken to her without trembling attached to them. The room froze, fearing a volcanic eruption. But then Lily looked up, eyes wide and hopeful, and said, "Daddy, are pancakes coming soon?" Evelyn blinked. The child didn't flinch at her tone, didn't bow under her presence. She simply existed with innocence Evelyn had forgotten long ago. "Move their table," Evelyn ordered, voice brittle, but the staff hesitated. For the first time, Evelyn felt the weight of her reputation working against her. People weren't admiring. They were terrified, exhausted, done. Her power felt lonely. Adam sat back down, offering his daughter a smile that cost him more strength than anyone noticed. "We're staying." That night, the incident spread through whispers. An empire shaken not by a competitor, but by a father and a little girl with crayons. Evelyn sat in the back of her limousine afterward, staring at her reflection in the tinted glass. The world she built suddenly felt too heavy. And for the first time in years, she wondered who she had become, and if she had always been this cold. Morning sunlight filtered softly through the cafe windows, and the world outside felt quieter, gentler. Adam had returned not because he was stubborn, but because life demanded routine and small joys for his daughter. He didn't expect her to appear again. Not Evelyn Sterling, not the storm in designer heels. Yet there she stood, no entourage, no snapping attitude, only uncertainty shadowing her expensive sunglasses. Adam tensed, ready to defend his tiny world again. But Evelyn didn't approach like a queen demanding tribute. She stepped slowly, hesitating like someone walking into unfamiliar territory. Lily looked up and brightened, not at Evelyn, but the paper bag in her hand. Kids only see stories, never wealth. Didn't mean to frighten you yesterday. Evelyn began stiffly, voice struggling to find softness. I brought these pancakes from a private chef. Lily's eyes sparkled. With syrup, Evelyn nodded as if sealing a business deal. Adam stared, confused. Billionaires didn't apologize. They crushed, replaced, or ignored. Yet here she was. We didn't have to do that, he whispered. I know. Her voice cracked. That's why I did. They sat, awkward at first, two worlds colliding like mismatched furniture. Lily drew another picture, glancing at Evelyn with fascination. Do you work a lot? She asked innocently. Evelyn swallowed. Too much. Daddy works a lot too, Lily said proudly. But he still reads bedtime stories, even if he's tired. Adam felt his throat tighten. Evelyn looked away, blinking hard. Once long ago, she had bedtime stories too, until ambition drowned laughter in boardrooms and reports. She envied the simplicity of love poured from exhaustion instead of wealth. You remind me, Evelyn whispered, that strength isn't power. It's sacrificing without applause. Adam studied her. He didn't trust easily. Life had scraped that luxury away. But he saw something human breaking through her polished surface. People don't avoid you because you're rich, he said gently. They avoid you because you don't let anyone matter. No one had ever spoken to her like that, and meant it not as insult but truth. It stung, and healed at the same time. Lily finished her drawing and pushed it toward Evelyn, a stick figure trio with crooked smiles. This is you not being mad, she explained. Everyone's happy. Evelyn stared at the drawing as if it were a priceless painting. Her chest felt different, tight, unfamiliar, aching. Thank you, she whispered, as if accepting a gift far more valuable than stocks or gold. Silence fell, warm and fragile. For the first time in years, Evelyn didn't feel like a storm. She felt like a person learning to breathe again. Beside her, Adam didn't see a billionaire. He saw someone lonely, someone trying, someone changing, not for the world, but for a small girl with crayons. And as they shared pancakes in the soft morning light, the billionaire with the iron heart discovered that power meant nothing without people to share mornings with. The single dad who stood firm learned that even the hardest souls can soften when confronted with sincerity. And a little girl reminded them both that kindness, not wealth or pride, is how lives truly change. Sometimes the greatest transformation begins not with grand gestures, but with a quiet table, a stubborn father, and a drawing that says, everyone's happy. And somewhere in that small cafe, a new story began, not built on fear or wealth, but on bravery, humility, and the simple, extraordinary power of choosing kindness over power and people over pride.